Building your own PC is like building Lego, but for grown-ups. It's very fun. You pick all the parts, you put them together, and then you have a computer that is exactly what you want. Building a PC also saves you money. Pre-built PCs are more expensive. When you build your own, you choose the best parts for your needs and budget. Another great thing is you learn how computers work. You understand all the components. This helps you troubleshoot problems. You can even upgrade your PC later, so are you ready? Let's get started. Before you start building, you need parts. Here's a list of what you need. Motherboard, the main circuit board. Everything connects to it. CPU, the brain of the computer, it does all the thinking. RAM, short-term memory, it helps the CPU work fast. Power supply, gives power to all the parts. Storage, hard drive or SSD. This is where you store games and files. GPU makes the graphics look good for games. Case, the box that holds everything together. Don't forget the monitor, keyboard and mouse too. Find a clean, well-lit table. You need space to work. Make sure you have a non-carpeted surface. Static electricity can damage computer parts. Here are some tools you will need. Screwdriver with magnetic tip. Makes screwing easier. Anti-static wrist strap. Protects your parts from static electricity. Zip ties or Velcro straps. Keep cables neat and tidy. Now you're ready to start building. Open the case and take out the motherboard box. Carefully place the motherboard on your workspace. Look for the CPU socket. It's usually covered with a protective cover. Align the arrow on the CPU with the arrow on the CPU socket. Gently place the CPU into the socket. Don't force it. Close the latch on the CPU socket. Now screw in the motherboard standoffs to the case. These are little metal spacers. They keep the motherboard from touching the case. Align the motherboard with the standoffs and screw it in. Section 5. Mounting the CPU and cooler, the brain and its cooling system. The CPU gets hot. It needs a cooler to stay cool. There are two types, air and liquid. Air coolers are easier to install. Apply thermal paste to the top of the CPU. This helps the cooler transfer heat away. Carefully mount the cooler on top of the CPU. Make sure it's attached securely to the motherboard. Section 6. Installing RAM and storage memory and data repositories. RAM is easy to install. Open the clips on the RAM slots. Align the notch on the RAM stick with the notch on the slot. Push down on both ends of the RAM until it clicks into place. Now for storage, find the SATA ports on the motherboard. Connect one end of the SATA cable to the storage device. Connect the other end to the SATA port. Section 7. Connecting the power supply. Fueling your PC. The power supply is a big box. It usually goes at the bottom of the case. Put it in place and screw it in. The power supply has lots of cables. Connect the right cables to the motherboard, CPU, storage, and GPU. Refer to your motherboard manual if you need help. Section 8. Installing the graphics card, Visual Powerhouse. The GPU makes games look awesome. Find the PCIe slot on the motherboard. It's usually the longest slot. Open the rear case slot where the GPU will be visible. Align the GPU with the PCIe slot and push it in. Screw it down to secure it. Section 9. Cabling and final touches. Organizing and completing the build. Now connect the monitor, keyboard and mouse. Don't forget the power cord. Before closing the case, double-check all the connections. Make sure all the components are properly seated. Close the case and screw it shut. Congratulations. You built your own PC. Now turn it on and enjoy. If it doesn't turn on, don't panic. Check all the connections and make sure everything is plugged in properly.